I was an average American. I was a guy that was in poverty.
You're not anymore.
And you can also change. You can also change.
Anyways,
do you believe
you're
you
talking
can change?
down. A lot of times that the market for poverty is actually very low. So a lot of times like $2 a day is the line for how they measure poverty.
$2.15,
And that's ridiculous. So if I make $5 a day, I'm not in poverty. I can actually live. I can pay the rent.
Sure.
But we're talking about this country, right? We're not talking about around the world. I've noticed that you like to do that. You like to like skirt from America and talk about other countries to try to make it look like we're better, but we're actually getting worse.
America's the greatest country in the world.
Anyways, it's the greatest country. We are at the highest that we've ever been with homelessness since we started collecting data.
Why is that? Ask you, are you from California?
We haven't had a pay raise since
California?
2009.
Do you live
here?
Our
minimum wage nationally is $7.25.
Okay.
And you wonder why we have the highest poverty rate. You think that capitalism's winning? Can you survive? Would you like to live off $7.25
I used to work for $4.25 at Haagen-Dazs.
Right.
Then I went and worked at Burger King for $4.75.
And how much do you make now?
Then I make millions today. Then I worked
and that's
at
why
Bob's
you like
Big
capitalism, because we're not all making that.
But
and
the
that's my
difference
point.
is, but
a
the difference
millionaire is critiquing the people in poverty and saying you should work harder. You should work. You can be lean. We can't all be it.
My hope is that you believe you can change and improve, that you believe you can upgrade yourself. That's my belief.
You know what? That's what rich people like you want to keep telling us. But you can be just like me. Do you want to be like me? If you work hard enough,
I'm not saying that.
It's not very realistic.
It's actually, you wouldn't be able to be like me because you wouldn't work that hard. Would you work that hard?
You don't. I'm not going to tell you. I don't have to answer that.
If you don't choose
have to measure my I don't have to measure my work ethic to be worthy.
You don't
have to measure your work ethic to be worthy. What are you talking about?
Have to, then you can't be upset for others who do so.
You can't be upset for people who are struggling.
Because they work harder than you.
And that's what's wrong with capitalism. Because
but
you
go
think
back to the
that
homelessness.
you have to work so hard.
Do you live in the state of California?
I do.
Okay, you said homelessness.
Yes.
What do you think about your Governor Newsom? What do you think about him?
I don't like him. I'm a progressive. He doesn't do enough for the people.
Do you know when he
takes corporate money?
Fantastic.
He takes money from people like
when
you.
He was,
he's not
I've never given him money. But do you know when he first became a governor,
surprise, but
I would never give him money. But when he became a governor first, from then till today, he's raised the amount of homelessness in this state by 36,000 people.
Okay, I don't like the guy, but he's not at fault for.
She just want to argue. That's what it is. She's not there. This is the problem with a lot of debates. This is the problem. Everybody has their own stance and belief instead of just actually sitting back and listening to the person and what they're trying to say. She just literally up there to combat and just argue. She got this aggressive tone. She started the entire conversation with the fucking attitude. Instead of going up there like, look, I got respect regardless if you disagree or agree with his takes and how his outlook on things, because you don't know the man personally. You don't know him. You haven't sat down and talked to him. You haven't had a conversation with him. You're only having a debate. And this attitude that you have because you feel some type of way, you already have this preconceived notion about who this man is. Like you already coming in with ill will.
For homelessness, people like you are, billionaires like you are the
gave
problem.
him $24 billion. Taxpayers
I believe it.
gave him $24 billion, and he didn't do nothing with it. And
vote
it
him
increased.
Out. Vote him out.
You vote him out. You have him. It's not that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not here to defend Newsom.
You can.
But you're not much different than him. That's all I'm saying. You're in the same class.
But Newsom is a piece of shit.
You're sitting here blaming a person who's changed their lives for the better. And it's their fault. My dad was.
This is not the United States of Patrick Bet David.
Do you know where?
This is the United States of America.
I know, and I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful to
be here. But you're proving the point. Yes, this is the United States of America, where things are possible, where the impossible is possible, where you have the ability to do and become the person or anything that you want to fucking be. But you choose to live the life that you live because of your choices. That's on you. Why are you
willing to pay more taxes so that other people don't suffer? Are you willing to pay more taxes so other people don't suffer? I am so grateful to be here. I see you're starting the question. Not willing.
My dad was a cashier in Inglewood at a 99-cent store. We had nothing. No, I don't tell you that's great. We had nothing. I'm the guy that had I'm the guy that had
propaganda that you guys.
Look, you ain't even trying to listen.
What you don't want to hear is that because it's the truth.
We
Can I ask you a
all
question?
be like you.
When's the last time you read a business book? When's the last time you read a self-help book?
I don't need to answer that.
When's the last time you read a self-help?
I wrote a self-help book. I'm a writer. I'm a creative.
Tell me what self-help book.
You wrote a self-help book, but yeah, you out here complaining back and forth with somebody who has come, I don't know, who've come from nowhere and made something of himself. Who's made something of himself, and you going back and forth about it, and you claim that you have a self-help book, man.
You read.
I'm not.
Give me
I don't
one.
Need to.
Give me one you read.
She
Are you willing to take one recommendation?
No.
You're not.
No.
She don't have anything. She just talking. She just to go back and forth. She just wanted to argue. She didn't have any clear points. She just wanted to go back and forth. She just wanted to, that's all she wanted to do. She just wanted to go up there to argue. That's it. Let's go to the next clip, man.
How do you feel like the way you speak, you're the victim where all this happened to you?
Because I exist and things happen to
you.
And it doesn't stop, guys. Watch the next one as Patrick once again exposes the underlying mentality and what causes these people to act the way that they do.
What's the chances that any of you here voted for Donald Trump in 2024? Exactly, right? What is the chances that all of you here can't stand the phrase MAGA, Donald Trump, any of that stuff? Is that a fair assessment? Fair. Okay.
Yeah, so it's your point.
So think about it this way. So maybe you're right that the Democratic Party that's been earning your vote for a long time wants to keep you there because they'll have your vote for the rest of your life.
They have never earned my
vote.
vote.
Who did you vote for in 2024?
In 24, I voted for the socialist candidate.
Who was that?
Claudia de la Cruz, I believe.
Who did you vote for in 2020?
I was actually not able to vote. I was in a hospital.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, because of results of capitalism.
That haircut
Tell
is
me more.
crazy.
Yeah, so I didn't have access to proper health care or even access to a proper job that would sustain me as a disabled person.
Are you comfortable being specific on what happened?
I
you
guess
don't have
so.
to if you're not
I mean, I'm also mentally ill, so that was something I had to deal with. But I'm mainly mentally ill because I am disabled in a capitalist country.
Tell me more about mentally ill. Who qualified you as somebody that's mentally ill?
Me and my doctor team.
Who convinced you that you're mentally ill?
Me and my doctor team.
What's the specific category of mental illness? Is there one? You know why I asked this question? Let me explain to why I asked this question.
So I don't even like the psychological industry. I don't really stand for like Sigmund Freudian politics or anything like that. So if you're going to debate the ethics of psychology.
I'm not. Where I'm going with this is going back to the same thing with if the money were to divide it equally, it'll end up being worked out within 5 years. My trouble is, in many cases, somebody you and I look up to will say something to us that we choose to believe for the rest of our lives. Unfortunately, it could be something where you have ADHD, you're mentally ill, you're poor, you're this, you're that, and we get to choose to buy into that or not. And if you do...
So you're saying I'm not mentally ill or I'm not disabled?
Saying you are or you're not. I would challenge it to go a little bit deeper to see if there's anything you can do about it.
So you're asking me about my health. You're asking me about my disability.
I'm not. I will say we are in a market where, stay with me here, there is a market where there's profit to convince you that you have issues to take the medication because they're making money.
Yeah, but I don't have access to the medication. I don't have access to even a result or a solution to my disability as someone with a connective tissue disorder. It's genetic.
Have you been able to go to different doctors and get yourself tested?
Yeah.
You have?
Yes.
And in California?
Yes, but not enough. I can't find a specialist.
You can't find a specialist?
I can't find a specialist
for who I am.
Is there anyone
in your life that's willing to pay for the specialist?
Well, they could they would if they had money, but
would you be okay if I pay for a specialist for you to go see?
Yeah.
Would you take money from a capitalist to help you go see specialists?
I mean, yeah, sure. Why not?
I'm going to have you go see two. Do you live in California?
Yeah.
I'm going to have you go see 2 specialists. But would you also be open to seeing somebody else I choose as a psychologist that may...
No.
You're not.
No.
So
you choose as a psychologist. You're choosing who gets to determine what my mental health looks like. No.
Okay. Then I wish you nothing but the best.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
See, when we talk about, you just got a prime example of somebody who just wants to be a victim. You got a prime example of someone who just wants to be a victim. You have this multimillionaire man who just offered. You were just complaining about y'all not having the money to go and find the proper specialist. You just said that out of your own mouth that y'all don't have that you don't have the money to do so. This multimillionaire just offered to pay for you to go get specialists and go figure out the things that's wrong with you. Then to add the cherry on top, he then offered to you to go see a psychiatrist. He offered to you to go see a psychiatrist that he'll of his choosing, and you said no. You said fuck no. Why? But you're willing to take his money though, which I'm pretty sure you was gonna take his money and not use it to go find a specialist. You was gonna use it on some other shit. And this is a prime example. This is a prime example of what we talk about. You just want to be a fucking victim, bro. You just want to be a victim. You just want to hear something. You just want to be fucking heard. You don't want to do anything. You just want to be heard.
Okay, that was probably the best one of all. That was just so telling. This girl states that she is sick and she's mentally ill. Granted, maybe she is. Patrick says, if you're comfortable, brought it up when she was up whatsoever. I mean, I have this very...
What?
How do you feel like the way you speak, you're the victim where all this happened to you?
Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. I don't know what the hell just happened with that. All right, so let me go to this. Let me go to this next video. Let me go to the next video.
I think incentives are exactly the fundamental problem with capitalism. Is that you say incentives are what make it work, and I think that's the whole issue. Is that the primary incentives are either greed, amass of as much personal wealth as you possibly can.
You think that's the problem? It's greed?
Yeah, exactly. And
like you're not greedy at all.
And like you said, survival.
Yeah.
Right. The person working 5 jobs, that they're doing that so they wouldn't want to do that if they didn't need to survive. But that's such a horrible dystopian world to live in. If someone has to work 5 jobs just to survive,
how did they get there? How much of that is on their decision making? How much of that is on their doing? How much of that is on the market where they're not finding ways to improve themselves?
It doesn't matter how much onus is on the individual. We want to create a world.
Of course it is.
No. See, we want to create a world in which people don't have to earn their right to exist, to live.
Okay, so here's the key word here. When he says we want to create a world where people don't have to earn their rights, their right to live. Somebody who is...
Why do you think so many want to come here?
I think the people coming here are coming from gang-ridden, corruption-ridden, violence-ridden.
You think that's just all it is? You think I came from a gang-ridden in Iran? I lived there 11 years.
I think the majority of, certainly coming from South America.
Most people come here because what you're doing to me, you're sitting across from me right now.
Right.
Millions of people are going to watch this. In America, you can call me out. You can say whatever you want.
Right.
Nothing's going to happen.
Right.
You're free and safe here, right?
Sure. Freedom of speech is
nothing to do with capitalism. You can't do that in Iran. Of course it is. There's a lot of elements with America. You're talking incentive. The amount of benefits America offers against other countries, it's so much higher, where somebody with big dreams, incentives, they're willing to come and say, I want to come to America, please let me in. And some come and take advantage of it. But to say the individual that's working 3 to 5 jobs, if you do that for a season, if you do that for 2 years, if you do that for 5 years, fine. If you do that for 20, 30 years, you're doing something wrong.
Just a quick interruption, guys. Do not forget to smash that like button. Get this message out. Back to all.
But the point is, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? Those are the inalienable rights. We shouldn't have to earn those rights. We shouldn't have to earn the right to health care, to earn the right. No, because we just want to live, exist. We can't work our blood, sweat, and tears just to survive. That's a horrible dystopian world that we live in right now.
Then what do you think we're here for? To just sit around and play video games?
We're here,
what do you think we're here for? To sit around and watch TV shows?
We're here to
sit and watch cat videos?
We are here to create a prosperous community to lift everyone up.
How do you create a prosperous community? How do you create a prosperous community? Matter of fact, for you, how have you positively impacted a community?
I guess volunteering, food banks.
Volunteering, food. I appreciate you for doing that. Have you created jobs for others?
Created jobs? No, I wouldn't say
Why
so.
have you not?
I haven't had the ability to do so.
Do you think it's easy or do you think it's hard?
To create jobs is probably hard, yeah.
Okay, so the people that create jobs, you think they should have a little bit of incentive for having risked their life savings, spend time away their families to create jobs so somebody like you can work for that company.
Sure, but that is
the incentive.
And bravo for them, but that does not give them the right to pay themselves $2 million bonuses while their workers are.
What the fuck are you talking about? You telling me that a person who decided to create a business, to start a business, build it from the ground up, scale the business, work their ass off, because what they say, what most people won't tell you is that entrepreneurship, you're not working a 9 to 5 no more. You're working 24/7. You're working around the fucking clock. When you're talking about building the business and starting from the ground, this is what happens. You start the business, and we talking about LLCs and all that. We ain't even talking about the back end shit. We just talking about just starting the business. You start the business, you start to work on the business, right? Because guess what? You don't have no employees. It's just you. You start the business, you start to work on the business. Not only are you working in the business, you're working on the business. So you're doing two things at one time, which is one of the reasons why you're working on it 24 hours, 24/7, right? You're constantly working on your business. Now, mind you, you still got to profit. You still got to bring in money. So once you bring in money, you got to make sure that all the expenses are paid to make sure that the business can continue to thrive and continue to keep moving. Make sure you oil the machine, right? Also, 9 times out of 10, it takes about 3 years for you to start profiting, depending on the type of business that you're going to. Some businesses are low barrier entry. Some takes a little bit more, right? But it usually takes about 3 years for you to start profiting, typically about 3 years or so. Now, once you start to profit, now you start to make a little extra money. What do? You don't take that money and pay yourself. Guess what? You take all that money and you put it back into the business. So the only way for you to grow is for you to continue to scale. And the only way you scale is putting money back into your business, correct? All right, bet. So now that you're making more money, you're getting more business, you're signing more contracts to bring more business in. Once you get to a certain point, you're able to start hiring people, creating jobs for people who don't have a job, right? You start to create that job. Now you're building the business and you're scaling it. Now it's getting even bigger. Now instead of just you working, and now you got 1 to 3 guys working with you. So therefore, you're able to take you're able to work a little bit broader. You're able to get more jobs done and work and get things done more efficiently, right? So now you're going to make a little bit more money. Now you're able to take more money and put that money back into the business again, right? And guess what you do? You continue to scale up. Now, instead of you having 3 employees, now you got fucking 15 employees. You got 15 employees. You continue to rinse and repeat. Once you get to a certain point where now everything is taken care of and your business can thrive without you being in the business, actually working in the business, you can just be working on the business. Now you can pay yourself a salary. Now you're not going to pay yourself a crazy ass wage, because guess what? You still want to get to a certain point. You get to a certain point, right? You're paying yourself, let's just say 5%. You're paying yourself 5% of the revenue of the profit that you earn, because you're not paying yourself off the revenue, you're paying yourself off the profit, because you got to pay all the expenses first, including your employees, right? Once you get to that point, you get to a certain point, you continue to do the same thing, rinse and repeat. You continue to grow the business, grow the business, grow the business, grow the business. Now you're at a point where you can pay yourself a significant amount. You still keep it at like a 5%, but that 5% is a lot higher now. Now you're paying yourself a phenomenal wage. Now you're making millions now in this business because you worked through this business. Mind you, this has been years that has been going by. You've had some wins, you had some losses. You've profited, you put money back into the business, you focus everything in your business. There have been some losses. You've been working in your shit 24/7. You sacrifice a lot of different things. You've worked your ass off to get to this point. Now your company is a multi-million-dollar company, and now you're able to pay yourself a significant amount of money. Who the fuck are you to tell me what not to pay myself? The business that I started, the business that I had put my blood, sweat, and tears in, the business that I sacrificed things for. Who the fuck are you to tell me what my business or what I should not pay myself? Boy, the nerve of you, motherfucker. The nerve of you. That's what I call first world problems. You gonna tell a person who built his own business from the ground up to tell them like, oh, wait, why you shouldn't be paying yourself $2 million? Why the fuck not? It's my business. And mind you, I could pay myself more if I wanted to, but I choose not to because I want my business to continue to thrive. So I take a small portion. So I could think, instead of me paying myself $2 million, I could be paying myself $10 million. But I choose not to because I want to continue to have my business thrive. That's why we got to a multi-million-dollar company. What the fuck are you talking about?
You don't get to choose how much money I choose to make. That's not your business. That's my business.
Exactly. You do not get to choose what the highly industrious and creative aren't talking attribute their falls on the business owner. So if you want where his mouth is and really getting it beneath.
That's the problem. That's why I can't stand. It's always people in the Democratic Party, people who believe in socialism, all the leftists. It's always the leftists, bro. They always want a fucking handout, bro. Mind you, I used to be that person. I used to be the one that had the victim mentality. I used to until I realized that, nigga, I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. Once I changed my mindset and I figured, I say, you know what? The government ain't got shit to do with me and my wages and the type of money that I make. The government ain't got shit to do with that. It has nothing to do with the type of money I make. The government ain't got shit to do with me going to learn a skill. Excuse me, that's on me. The government ain't got shit to do with me learning how to save money the right way. The government has nothing to do with me learning how, okay, well, I need to make sure I allocate my funds correctly instead of me just taking my money and spending it in places. How about I take my money and invest it first? I invested into the stock market. I invested into ETF. I invested into my 401k. I invested into my IRAs instead of taking my money and then going to spend it and blow the shit. Because now I got money that now I pay myself for. Boom, I put it into an account. I'm straight. Now I can do whatever with the other money. Or if I say I don't want to do nothing else extra, so I take a little extra dough and put it into the accounts. You choose a life. A lot of y'all, these are self-inflicted wounds. These are self-inflicted wounds that y'all have. But then you want the government to come save you because you decided to make the bad decision. You decided to go buy that vehicle knowing that you could barely afford it. You decided to go and put yourself in debt. You decided to go and swipe that credit card knowing good and well you wasn't going to pay it back. And a lot of us are guilty of it. And we put ourselves in those positions. And then we talk about, man, I'm in debt up to my fucking head, man. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Instead of you saying you don't know what you're gonna do, instead of finding a solution to figure out how to get yourself out of it and slowly get yourself out of it, because once you in a lot of debt, it ain't gonna happen overnight. That's why you start to see a lot of people that start to go play the fucking lottery. They trying to find the quick, easy money to get. No, bruh. No, you put yourself in a situation, you can get yourself out. Don't be focusing on the government. Focus on yourself. And that's why Trump took away DEI. Like, no, if you want, I'm not gonna put you in the position just because you're black or you're a female or you're a part of the ABC community or you're handicapped. No, I'm gonna pick the best person of the job. And if you just so happen to be a black woman, cool. If you just so happen to be a handicapped person, cool. If you just so happen to be a part of the ABC community, cool. But I'm not gonna hire you just based off of DEI alone. Absolutely not. We ain't doing that. Stop trying to point the finger at everybody else. Look at yourself. Look at the shit that you're doing. Look how you live in your life. Look how you're spending. You're trying to keep up with the Joneses. That's exactly what you do. You put yourself in these positions. A couple of times, I don't know if y'all seen it or not, Patrick Bet-David he offered one guy. He said, listen, I'm willing to give you an interview. You said that you filled out 477 applications. Mind you, if my math precedes me correct, that means you did an application every single day, plus some. Because it's 365 days in a year. So you mean to tell me, including the weekends, 365 days. That means an application a day that you did. And on top of that, you saying that nobody called you back, 477. And nobody called you back, bro. You got to be fucking shitting me. And then you're going to say, well, and then when Patrick Bet-David then said, look, this is what I'm going to do. I want to offer you an interview. Are you, first and foremost, are you willing to move to Florida? He's like, I'm Florida. I don't know. Okay, cool. He's like, well, listen, I'm willing to offer you an interview. Then the buddy turned around and said, well, well, how much are you paying? Well, I got to take a look at, I got to go and look at, I want to take a look into your business. What the fuck do you mean? You don't have room to worry about, to go and read about the business right now. Have the interview. You can talk about that later. Have the interview, accept the interview. Then once you do have the interview with the person, he can then tell you about how much he's going to pay, what all the things that are required, and what the business is about. But you declined it. You pretty much shot yourself in the foot. Beggars can't be fucking choosers. If you can't find a fucking job, if you filled out 477 applications, and you telling me that you couldn't get a call back out of 477 applications, you mean to tell me that you got the audacity to sit here and try to question it instead of just saying, you know what, hell yeah, I'll take the interview right the fuck now. Matter of fact, fuck the debate. Let's have the interview. What's up? What we doing? And then mind you, the way let me go back to it so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. This fella right here. I can look at him and tell probably why he ain't getting no call back. If that's actually the case. Because there are many things that could possibly happen. Let me break some of that down for you. Some of the if he filled out 477 applications, which I don't believe. But let's just say that he did. Some of those applications, true, they probably didn't call back. Some of them. Then there were some that did call him back. And guess what? They probably told him over the phone, you know, what the business was about or what they were paying. And he said, nah, I don't want it. Right? Or he probably actually got the interview, went in, they saw how he was dressed, you know, in that haircut. And it was like, nah, you probably won't be a good fit. So therefore, they didn't call him back. Or he could have went into the interview and just fucking shitted over the entire floor, which basically what I'm saying is that he probably screwed up the entire interview, did a horrible job at the interview, and they also didn't call him back. Probably said the wrong thing during the interview that they didn't like, or you just wasn't a good fit. Things happen. I understand that, but you mean to tell me nobody wanted to hire you out of 477 applications? Yeah, you can lie, bro. You can lie to me, bro. You can't lie to yourself, dog. Straight up, straight the fuck up. You ain't finna gaslight me, bro. 100%. You're not. But more of the story, bro. A lot of these people, they need to stop. A lot of these people, they need to stop making fucking excuses. I'm sick of the excuses. 100%. I am tired of the excuses. I am tired of everybody always trying to blame the government. They want to point the finger at Trump. They want to point the finger at the state. They want to point the finger at the city. They want to talk about racism. They want to talk about they want to talk about conservatives. They want to talk about